Cognitive linguistics looks at the relationships between how language depends on human cognition, on how people think and experience the world. What I find really interesting is how do we acquire this knowledge and what makes some people better at doing it than others. My name is Ewa Dąbrowska. I'm Professor of Linguistics at Birmingham University, and I do research on cognitive linguistics and the psychology of language. The thing that I'm probably most proud of is my research on individual differences.
For a long time, the accepted opinion was that every human is equipped with a basic knowledge of grammar from birth onwards, a linguistic dogma, an undisputed truth.
I've always been suspicious about this, and at one point I decided to test this empirically. I looked at people from various educational backgrounds and found some very interesting differences between speakers. Now I'm more interested in the causes of these differences.
For example, why do adults have greater problems learning a second language than children? Dąbrowska uses comprehension tests to establish how the language knowledge of native speakers differs from that of second language speakers. Tests on functional grammar, for example, investigate how well the tested person can differentiate between and allocate grammatical nuances. For example, the sentence, "It was the dancer who the soldier kissed," compared to "It was the dancer who kissed the soldier." It was shown that second language speakers are better at recognizing these functional differences. Similar deviations can be found in the differences in language acquisition between children and adults.
It seems that adults are much more interested in the message that they want to convey. They focus on getting the message across. They are much more goal-oriented, whereas children are much more focused on the detail, on the correct way to do it. They are much more focused in, they want to be like their parents.
Is there a connection between the speed at which people automate a skill and the learning of a language? Ewa Dąbrowska thinks there is. In order to prove her theory, she uses the Tower of Hanoi, a logical puzzle in which a series of combined actions lead to the goal. Language functions in a similar way.
Wow, that was amazing. We should look at the process where knowledge, which is initially conscious, explicit, abilities which are highly controlled, become automatic as we become more competent speakers. So in other words, I think we should think of language as a skill, a cognitive skill, and apply some of the research in psychology on skill learning.
How important psychological tricks can be is shown by the next participant in the study. He only dares tackle the task in a Star Wars costume.
You got it. Well done.
Now Ewa Dąbrowska will continue her work in Erlangen-Nuremberg. For her, the Humboldt Professorship means not only a new team of colleagues, but also synergies which make new collaborations possible.
I quite like challenging established dogmas, proving that what a lot of people believe is actually incorrect. That's kind of great once you've got once you've done the research, have written the paper, got it published, and then people find it interesting. But in the early stages, it's very difficult because nobody wants to fund it because people think it's a crazy idea. So actually, I'll be able to do the things much braver, do much more adventurous kinds of things without having to worry about getting finance to run the studies.
The professor is moving with 2 cats and 1 husband from the east coast of England to southern Germany.
I think also it's a challenge. I'll be living in a different country, learning German, so it will be quite useful for me, I think, to look at second language learners from the inside as well as from the outside. So I think that might help me understand what it's like to be an immigrant learning a language.
With the Humboldt Professorship, she can now at last begin the many studies she has planned for so long, and thus also influence future generations of pupils.
Demonstrating the existence of individual differences in areas that where people have denied that they exist is important, because we know that many children fail at schools. They begin to think that they're stupid, so they become disinterested, demotivated, and it's this vicious circle. So I think if we understand that a lot of it might be to do with their language skills, we can again work with them in a way that's suitable for their language level.